What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another segment of the barbecue. Today we're doing a college football recap of Thursday and Friday's games leading into Saturday games. We already had some great games on Thursday and Friday. College football is back. It's been so exciting. The first game that we got to recap is that UCF versus Kent State game. DP, what did you think about UCF?
They looked how I expected them to look. Kent State was a pretty inferior opponent. Considering UCF is a Power 5 team now, the spread was minus 35.5, and I did predict them to cover, and they covered. Final score was 56-6, I believe. John Rice Plumlee looked good. Looked good through the air, looked good on the ground. I don't think he had any turnovers. So overall, the UCF offense looked just how I expected. Defense looked pretty too, all things considered. If you only give up 6 points in a game, I mean, you can't really say too much about that.
Yeah, their defense was phenomenal. They only let up less than 200 yards of total offense, which I thought was pretty crazy. 6 points. They only allowed 6 points too. That's pretty damn good. Yeah, but you're right. John Rice Plumlee looked amazing. Had 281 yards passing, 4 total touchdowns, and 90 yards on the ground. UCF as a whole had 389 yards rushing. So they're just unstoppable on offense. So hopefully, I love John Rice Plumlee. I love how he's a two-sport athlete. I love his how he's just so energetic on the field. I just love his energy, and I hope for us Florida schools, I hope that they continue this trend and do really well this year. That's a great start to the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a good week one for most of the Florida schools.
Yeah, most of them. We'll get to that one that it wasn't too good for later. But yes, we got NC State versus UConn. The score was 24-14. NC State.
Thinking about how much speed they have and how committed they are, and how they're playing with a chip on their shoulder right now. UConn having their way with them.
Rosa
extends, touchdown. 17 yards, and the Huskies with the score on their first drive of the season. Allen, it's Armstrong, handoff, fakes it, and he's in. Touchdown for the quarterback, the transfer from Virginia.
And he's a big, strong kid, and this is one area where I don't think they were ready for him.
They kept it close. We'll see how the year goes for both teams.
Mims shakes free, touchdown, NC State.
Got the guy who transferred in from Virginia.
Mims getting in for 6.
Brandon Arcon, yeah. And now
you saw a play action pass. They do a great job right there, blocking again. Yates gets through, but he can't bring him down.
It should be interesting to watch.
And Mims.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in NC State.
One from Michigan, another guy from TCU.
30.
Rosa shakes free. Victor Rosa turns the corner down the sideline. Rosa is in. Touchdown, Connecticut. And Rosa with his second from 71 yards out.
He only had 155 yards passing.
And watch him get to the edge. Remember, this is just zone blocking. The back is just going to hit that left side. His aiming point is the outside leg of that tight end or that tackle. And as soon as he feels the defense
after the touchdown, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 22.
Played at West Virginia before. I thought that he would have been a lot better than what he did against UConn.
Yeah, first game with a new team and a new system might have just been, might take him a game or two to really get going. But yeah, I was a little disappointed also. But it's a long year, so we'll see how it goes.
It was only game one. I'm not going to put too much on it, but I just thought that NC State would have been a little bit better that first game.
Yeah.
But yeah, next one we got Utah versus Florida. Utah won 24-11. This game made my blood boil. I was so angry at this game because Cameron Rising did not play. And I thought UF should have put the pounding on them, and they just blew this game. I don't think personally Utah won. I think UF blew this game. I thought it was terrible play calling by Coach Napier. I thought Graham Mertz did not look that great, even though the stats like on the paper looked good. He threw for 333 yards, but he just missed too many wide open people. There's a lot of drops, too many penalties. They had like 5 or 6 penalties on third down where they got first downs and they had to like redo the play because of offsides or illegal formation or something. That can't happen. And the fact that they let off a 70-yard touchdown on the first play, but from a backup quarterback, terrible all around. I'm very disappointed in UF. Shout out to Utah for pulling it out with 2 backup freshman quarterbacks. But yeah, I'm so disappointed in UF.
Yeah, UF didn't look great. There's 2-3 things that can always prevent you from winning. That's penalties, turnovers, and giving up big explosive plays. And the UF did all 3 of those things. So it's hard to win a game, let alone go into a place like Utah against a top 25 team and win when you do those 3 things. So the game kind of played out how you'd expect it, considering how Florida played and the errors they made throughout the game. So I picked you. I thought Utah would cover. I thought it would be closer, maybe like a 7-point game, considering it was pretty much a 3-score game most of the second half. But, Utah looks good. Once they get Cam Rising back, I mean, who knows how the rest of their year will go. So
yeah, honestly, I mean, shout out to their defense too. They UF averaged 0.06 yards a carry. They only had 13 yards rushing the entire game. So shout out to their defense too, because they took away that aspect and made them one-dimensional.
Yeah, 13 yards for the whole game. That's pretty good.
So, but yeah, disappointed in UF. I mean, in my opinion, I think Napier should be fired. That was the worst play calling I've ever seen. I'm so I hate to say it again, but like that was. I'm just so disappointed. I thought they would be a lot better than they looked. I hope it's just one game, but if they continue to play the way they did, I'm seeing them at like a 4-6 season.
Yeah, I had them preseason going 6-6. I think they could still pull it off, but who knows?
Who knows?
Long year.
Yeah, you never know. But next we got Minnesota versus Nebraska. This game was super boring. Oh man, this game was terrible. Nebraska led the whole game pretty much until the last 2 minutes. They allowed 10 points in the last 2 minutes to blow the lead. Minnesota won 13-10. What's your thoughts on this game?
Kind of like I said 2 minutes ago. If you turn the ball over, you'll lose games. And Nebraska had 2 critical turnovers. One in the first half, right before halftime. They were on Minnesota's 10-yard line. They could have easily kicked a field goal. They had about 15, 20 seconds left. So obviously, they wanted to take some shots at the end zone, which makes sense. But one thing you can't have turnovers, period. But one thing you especially can't have is red zone turnovers, because that eliminates you any chance of points. They could have kicked a field goal and gone up by 3 going into halftime, and then they would have carried that 3-point lead probably till the end of the game and probably would have won. But it stayed tied for most of the game. They scored a couple times. It was 10-10. And then Nebraska had the ball. They fumbled with 3 minutes left in the game, gave Minnesota the ball back, and they were able to go down and kick a game-winning field goal.
Unbelievable catch, by the way, for that touchdown that tied the game. That
was a great catch. Tony Toad.
That was a great catch. I mean, shout out to Minnesota for never giving up, too, and just playing hard and coming back. That's got to be so disappointing for Matt Rule, his first game. I know Scott Frost is over there somewhere doing the Birdman hand rub. Like, I told you it wasn't me. But Also a big stat too that I when during the game they put a little sticker up. Nebraska has the most fourth quarter blown victories since 2010, and it's almost by double.
Yikes!
That's an awful stat. That's an awful stat.
That kind of sums up Nebraska for the past decade.
Yeah, it's kind of been Nebraska's storyline for the past 10 years probably.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And both teams passed for under 100 yards in that game, and still. So that just proves that there was no ball movement at all in that game.
News fest.
But yeah, so I don't think that we did too hot on the spreads on the Thursday night games.
No, at least I got Utah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we're both. Oh, dude, I think you were 2-2 and I was 1-3.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so we didn't start off too hot the year. But let's get to that Friday recap. We got Michigan State versus Central Michigan to start the Friday night slate. I said that Michigan State was going to dominate them, and they pretty much did. Michigan State looked really good. Their quarterback, Noah Kim, threw for 279 yards and had 2 touchdowns. Their running back, Nathaniel Carter, had 113 yards and 1 touchdown. And I told you they're just going to grind and pound the ball down the throat, and that's basically what they did. The defense was phenomenal. They held Central Michigan to under 100 yards passing as well. So yeah, I loved what I saw out of Michigan State.
Yeah, it looks good. It was a little bit of a slow start, but obviously they pulled away and sort of dominated toward the end. So, kind of as expected, Michigan State won in a fashion that I think everybody expected them to.
Yeah, and they covered that 14-point spread, which I was happy about. In my opinion, like I said, I thought that was a lock. I thought 14 was a little disrespectful for Michigan State, but I'll take it. But next we got Miami of Florida versus Miami of Ohio, the Battle of Miamis. This game was pretty crazy. It was 38-3.
Yep, 38-3.
So Tyler Van Dyke looked pretty good. He had 200 yards passing and a touchdown. I mean, he only played the first half. Miami had a ton of rushing yards. They were averaging 7 yards per carry, basically. They pretty much dominated. Brett Gabbert, by the way, was the quarterback for Miami of Ohio. He's the brother of Blaine Gabbert from Missouri back in the day.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw his interview last week saying how they were the real Miami, too.
Yeah. Brett Gabbert, he is the younger brother of Blaine Gabbert. And Brett, he is coming into tonight's game with some confidence. Take a listen.
This plays off the same question, but the real Miami is where? In Coral Gables or here in Oxford?
Oxford, Ohio.
Because you're around longer, you're just...
No, I just think we'll show them September 1st.
Yeah. He definitely had to swallow a sock on that one.
Yeah, that one didn't pan out as he planned, but I respect the confidence.
No, I do too. I love the confidence, and his brother Blaine had a great college career at Missouri. I think he was a Heisman candidate, actually.
Yeah.
So, anyway, he's the backup quarterback for the Chiefs right now.
I don't know.
I think.
Is he still?
Chad Henne retired last year, so I think they signed him for the backup quarterback role.
Okay.
Miami looked good. They dominated.
They did, yeah. They looked better than I thought they would.
And they proved that they are the real Miami. I think we all knew already. But next we got Louisville versus Georgia Tech. This game was insane. A lot of fun to watch. Louisville won 39-34. They had 26 unanswered points in the second half. Georgia Tech was putting it on them in the first half, and then Louisville just came back and started putting it on them.
Yeah, Georgia Tech just kind of being the Georgia Tech that everybody knows and loves. They had it great in the first half, and then they just fell apart in the second. I don't know what happened. After that first half, I was pretty impressed with Georgia Tech. But once the game was over, I was like, yeah, it's the same old Georgia Tech.
I'm still pretty impressed with them. I mean, they're normally like a really big running team, and their quarterback, Haynes King, threw for 313 yards and 3 touchdowns and had 53 rushing yards on top of that.
Yeah, he transferred from Texas A&M. He was the quarterback at A&M when they beat Alabama a year or two ago.
That is right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, other than that, the Louisville quarterback looked pretty damn good too. Jake Plummer.
Yeah.
No relation to Jake Plummer. But the
really? Old was his kid.
Huh?
I thought that was his son. Is he not?
So I'm pretty sure during the game they said that there's no relation.
Okay.
We'll have to double fact check that, but I'm pretty sure.
Google that one.
But yeah, he threw for 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he had 51 yards rushing too. So he played really well as well. And I honestly liked what I saw out of Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville looked good. I always feel like it's kind of – I know Lamar left like 5 years ago, but I feel like it's still weird watching Louisville without Lamar.
Well, I mean, when I had Malik Cunningham, you saw glimpses of Lamar.
Yeah.
Athletic quarterback, but this was like kind of cool to like see like someone different out there, like different style.
Yeah, white guy. Yeah.
But he seemed like he was making great decisions. He looked like he was having a lot of fun out there. I like his energy as well. You know, it was just a fun game to watch all around. And then the last game we got is Stanford versus Hawaii. This game was pretty lopsided. Stanford won 37-24, but Hawaii had 2 late touchdowns in the fourth. So yeah, Stanford dominated.
Yeah, the Hawaii plus 3.5 did not cover. I knew that was kind of a stretch, but I felt good about Hawaii, especially since they were at home. It was the first game they played at home since, the whole incident in Maui with all the wildfires that happened. Mm-hmm. So I thought they'd kind of rally around that. But they just couldn't finish it off in the end. And obviously Stanford's a Power 5 opponent. So anytime a Group of 5 team plays a Power 5, the odds are going to be a little stacked against them.
Yeah.
But, Stanford definitely didn't look bad. Put up 37 points, so.
Yeah, shout out to E.J. Smith, too. He had a touchdown. Emmitt Smith's son.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Hawaii quarterback, again, he looked great, though.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. Timmy Chang is their coach. They're going to have a great offensive system.
Yeah, Braden Sagar had 355 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. And he threw to, I can't pronounce this guy's first name, so I'm just going to say Ashlock, his last name, freshman wide receiver for Hawaii. He had 8 catches for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he showed out in the first game against Vandy as well. So shout out to the freshman balling out over there.
Shout out Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think Hawaii is going to be in good shape whenever they come and play their conference opponents.
Yeah, I think they can make a run and win the conference for sure.
The Mountain West, right?
Yeah, the Mountain West. I mean, I think the Mountain West will be solid with them. Boise State. I mean, San Jose State's look pretty good, except for when they played this week against Oregon State. San Diego State looks good. So we'll see. It should be interesting.
Yeah, it should be a good one. But yeah, that's it for our Friday games. We're going to be back in a second for our Saturday games. Let us know what you guys think about our takes. I was 4-0 in the Friday games. I won a big parlay because of it. shout out to Louisville for coming back. I think DP, I think you were a 3-1 too. So we bounced back from that Thursday, those Thursday games.
Yeah, we did.